Jamie here, back with another episode of Milk, Honey, and Mayhem. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. There are over 400 of y'all. My goodness. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that button down there for me. It doesn't cost anything, and once I hit 500, I'm going to start going live with you guys and doing some cool giveaways. Y'all know you want in on that. Now today is one of those mayhem videos, and there are trigger warnings all over this one. We're talking about a local unsolved murder, but the case, it's far from cold. 4 years ago, on a cold and dark Monday night in Linville, Tennessee, a beloved member of the community was shot while feeding his animals and left to die near the woods off Buford Station Road. His name was Jim Grimes, and he was a true gentleman, kind, generous, a loving father and husband, a smart businessman, a true pillar of the community. A man who gave more than he ever took, and yet his life was taken from him in a brutal, cowardly act that remains unsolved to this day. A psychic described the scene with chilling accuracy. His wife knows who did it. The police know who did it. But knowing isn't proving. And justice? Well, as of now, it's still out of reach. There's $1 million reward on the table for information that leads to an arrest. Someone out there knows the truth. Silence only protects the guilty, and this family needs answers. There's an amazing podcast called Murder at Land Between the Lakes, and they have 2 episodes where they interview Jim's family, the psychic who contacted the family, and the lead detective on the case. Now, those interviews are raw, honest, and heartbreaking. I listen to these ladies on Spotify, but I'm pretty sure they're on Apple Podcast as well. If you're interested in the case, please go over and give them a listen. I'll put a link in the description. Now, Linville is a small town in northern Giles County, and when I say small, the population there is less than 300 altogether. If you remember the video of the train museum that I did recently, that's Linville. Mostly rolling hillsides of farmland and forest with some houses dotted in periodically. The sort of place you want to raise a family. The sort of place that just feels safe. Or at least it did. Let's take a look at the Grimes property and zoom out from there, just to give you an idea of exactly how isolated it really is. Dawn and Jim Grimes raised 4 children and owned 2 very successful businesses, Auto Body Advantage collision repair shops, one in Spring Hill and the other in Thompson Station. What free time Jim did have, he spent it helping others. In 2012, he was the chairman for the Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce and most recently served on the Committee for Political Affairs and Human Resources. Jim also served on the board for the Well Outreach Food Pantry. That's the last place he was before his life was taken. But that wasn't his last act of kindness. That went to his wife, Dawn. She was the one who was supposed to feed the barn animals that night, but when she got home from work, she had a splitting headache. So Jim told her to rest and that he'd take care of it. It was just after 9 p.m. when Jim grabbed his headlamp and headed out to the barn. Dawn heard a loud boom and called his phone several times but got no answer. She ran to look outside, and that was when she saw his headlamp on the ground. He was still alive when she got to him, but by the time the ambulance got there, he was gone, at just 62 years old. This wasn't a hunting accident that late at night. This was intentional. Local law enforcement brought in search dogs and helicopters, but it was so dark that night. And again, this didn't happen in the middle of a crowded downtown. It was isolated, and not only that, the barn was pretty far from the house. But why? No one wanted to hurt Jim. He was a good guy. Was this intended to be some sort of home invasion and Jim's presence took them by surprise? The Grimes were folks of routine. The barn animals were usually fed between 5:30 and 6 p.m. Plus, the entire back half of their house was glass. This allowed them to take in the beautiful view, but also would have allowed anyone watching to see the lights in the house beginning to go out one by one. Law enforcement have said that this was a drug-induced thrill kill, and it didn't matter who was out there that night. The crime would have still taken place. The Grimes family, the Giles County Sheriff's Department, The TBI, the FBI, they're all involved. And they knew who did it. There's just no evidence. Dawn says she used to confront the man every day and force him to look her in the eyes. That person told everyone they were cooperating with the authorities, but they weren't. They refused property and car searches, refused to turn over their phones, refused to take a lie detector, and then moved away in the middle of the night. But you don't cross a Southern woman, and you damn sure don't mess with her family. Dawn found them. She knows where they are, and she will fight for justice until her dying day. And y'all, she has help from the other side. A psychic medium reached out to her and told her that Jim came to her and said, "I know who shot me, and I can tell you who they were." The description that she gave was so spot on, Dawn called Detective Shane Hunter. He said the hair on his arms stood up, and he called the FBI. The psychic was shown a thin, scraggly-looking man with blonde hair, very thin and unkempt. He was wearing faded jean overalls and a red and blue plaid shirt. He wore tan leather boots, the pull-on kind, not the kind with laces, and the boots were incredibly muddy and dirty. She saw an enormous hole in Jim's chest and was told that the man used a special bullet. Then she was shown an old Sunoco gas sign and a vintage pickup truck, the kind with the wood slats on the sides. Then the scenery flashed, and she witnessed the same man in his 30s wearing a black Stetson cowboy hat and being scolded by an older, taller father figure. That man had a gray and black scraggly beard that matched his hair and a slight belly. The older man kept saying, "You have done fucked up bad this time, boy." She saw the house where the killer lived, one story with steps that go up the side of the porch and a broken window. The smell of apple pie was overwhelming, and she was shown a small blue sedan and told that the muddy boots, murder weapon, and blood were in that car. She says that there's more than one person involved somehow, and that there's going to be a connection to drinking and getting into fights at all the local bars. The last bit of information the psychic picked up was on a connection to a strong J name. Jamie, she thinks. I can assure you that it isn't this Jamie right here, but someone, somewhere, knows something. And that can help solve this case and bring some closure to a family that very much deserves it. A couple days ago, I went up to the sheriff's department and spoke with one of the investigators on this case. I was told that there have been no recent leads in this case, but he assures me that the community is as safe as any other day, and we shouldn't be worried. But they do need information to solve this case and take a cold-hearted killer off the streets.
That's right. The sheriff telling me they do have a person of interest in the murder of Jim Grimes, as his heartbroken widow makes it clear the killer will be found.
I want to speak directly to the coward who murdered my husband at 9:36 on the night of April 19th. You think that you have gotten away with this. I assure you, you have not. I will never stop. We will never stop. And we are coming, and we will get you.
Her heart may be broken, but the mission of Dawn Grimes will never waver.
I made a vow to my husband that I would find who did this and make them suffer the consequences for the rest of their life. And I intend to keep that vow.
The search for her husband's killer has been a nonstop effort from investigators who are using state-of-the-art technology.
It's been ongoing. We have things still out that we're trying to get back, and so yes, technology is important.
I just absolutely hope that this family gets justice, and that this person is arrested and given what they deserve for taking such a wonderful person from all of us.
Reporting from Spring Hill, Stephanie Langston, News 2.
Any tidbit of information that you may have on this case, no matter how small or insignificant, may just be the one thing that is needed to solve it. It's been 4 long years, 4 years of unanswered questions, of grief without closure, of a family waking up every day knowing that the person who took their loved one from them is still out there walking free.
Now $1 million, that is what is being offered now to find the killer of a Giles County business. Investigators say that they have identified a person of interest, but they have not yet been named, saying that the person is not being cooperative. Investigators say that they need some state-of-the-art technology to find the missing piece to the puzzle and hope with the help of the FBI, closure will come soon. The widow of Jim Grimes saying she's not giving up.
But it's close. We are so close. And I have hope. I have not given up hope. I have hope, and I feel that we are there any day. We just need a little bit more time, and we need help from the community.
One small tip could bring justice to a man who never deserved this fate. There's also that $1 million reward, but for the family, the reward is the truth. Please contact the Giles County Sheriff's Department at 931-638-2358 with any information you may have. Let's not let another year go by in silence. Justice doesn't come by chance. It comes when someone steps forward. Until next time, y'all be good.